Imagine, if you will, that your current reality is like a garment you wear. It may feel comfortable, familiar, even inevitable. But I assure you it is no more permanent or real than the clothes on your back. You can change it just as easily as you change your attire. The secret lies in your assumption. Now you might be wondering, Neville, how can I ignore reality? Isn't that just denial? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. You see, what you call reality is not fixed or absolute. It is a reflection, a shadow cast by your assumptions. When you change your assumptions, you change the very fabric of your reality. This is where the concept of ignoring reality comes into play. But let me be clear, we are not talking about burying your head in the sand or denying the existence of your current circumstances. Rather, we are talking about shifting your attention, your belief, your assumption to that which you desire to be true. Let us delve deeper into this concept. Your world, your experience of life is not happening to you, it is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner assumptions. These assumptions are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And just as a seed grows into a plant, your assumptions grow into your experienced reality. This is why many people find themselves stuck in patterns of lack, of struggle, of not enoughness. They have unknowingly been planting these seeds in their subconscious mind through years of repetitive thoughts and feelings of limitation. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to choose what seeds you plant. You have the ability to consciously assume the state of being super rich, regardless of your current bank balance. This, my friends, is the key to ignoring reality and becoming super rich through the law of assumption. So how do we begin this process of assuming a new state of wealth and abundance? The first step is to clearly define what being super rich means to you. Be specific. Don't simply say, I want a lot of money. Instead, imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like as a super rich person. How do you feel? What are you doing? How do you spend your time? The more specific and detailed your vision, the more clearly you communicate with your subconscious mind. Once you have this clear vision, the next step is to assume the feeling of being super rich. This is crucial. You must feel the reality of being wealthy now, not in some distant future. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. So if you constantly feel that wealth is something in the future, it will always remain in the future. Instead, assume the feeling of wealth now. How would you feel if you were already super rich? Would you feel secure, confident, generous, free? Embody these feelings. Live from this state of being. This is not pretending or lying to yourself. This is assuming a new state of consciousness, which is the very essence of the law of assumption. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I feel wealthy when my bank account is empty? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. You must learn to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your desired state than to your current circumstances. This doesn't mean you deny the existence of your current bank balance. Rather, you acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to the feeling of wealth. You say to yourself, yes, this is my current situation, but it is not my permanent reality. I am now embodying the state of a wealthy person. I am now feeling the feelings of abundance and financial freedom. This process of assuming a new state while ignoring the contradictory evidence of your senses is not always easy. It requires practice, persistence, and most importantly, faith. But remember, the reality you see around you is nothing more than the outpicturing of past assumptions. As you persist in your new assumption of wealth, your outer world must reshape itself to match this new inner conviction. Let us now explore the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain the assumption of wealth in your daily life? It begins with your thoughts and your inner conversations. Pay attention to how you think and talk about money. Do you constantly worry about bills? Do you feel anxiety when you think about your finances? These thoughts and feelings are assumptions of lack, and they will perpetuate a reality of financial struggle. Instead, consciously choose thoughts and inner conversations that align with your assumption of wealth. When a bill arrives, instead of feeling stress, feel gratitude for the ability to pay it easily. When you make a purchase, instead of worrying about the cost, feel the joy of being able to afford what you desire. These may seem like small shifts, but they are powerful assumptions that will begin to reshape your financial reality. Your words, too, are crucial in this process. The words you speak are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Be mindful of the language you use around money. Eliminate phrases like "I can't afford it" or "money doesn't grow on trees." Instead, use empowering statements like "I always have more than enough" or "money comes to me easily and frequently." Remember, these are not mere affirmations or positive thinking techniques. They are assumption states of being that you are choosing to embody. Speak them with conviction, feeling the truth of them in your very being. Now, let us address a crucial aspect of becoming super rich through the law of assumption: your self-concept. Your self-concept is the sum total of all your beliefs about who you are. And this self-concept is perhaps the most powerful assumption you hold. Many people struggle to manifest wealth because their self-concept contradicts the state of being wealthy. They may visualize having money, but deep down, they don't believe they are the kind of person who can be rich. They may have limiting beliefs like rich people are greedy, or money is the root of all evil, or I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. To truly embody the state of being super rich, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. You must be willing to see yourself as someone who is naturally wealthy, who easily attracts abundance, who deserves financial success. This is not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. You see, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current bank balance, or the opinions of others about wealth. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential, including its potential for wealth. When you truly grasp this truth, when you begin to identify with your essential nature, rather than your temporary financial circumstances, you open yourself to limitless abundance. Your subconscious mind, no longer constrained by limiting beliefs about wealth, becomes free to manifest the financial reality you choose to assume. So how do you revise your self-concept to align with being super rich? The process is similar to assuming any new state of being. You must vividly imagine yourself as a wealthy person. Feel what it's like to be that person. How do they think about money? How do they make financial decisions? How do they carry themselves? But remember, this is not about creating a caricature of a rich person based on societal stereotypes. It's about recognizing and embracing your own unique expression of wealth. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself, a self that is naturally abundant and financially free. As you persistently imagine and feel yourself as this wealthy version of you, your subconscious mind will begin to accept this as your new reality. And as your subconscious accepts it, you will naturally begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with this new wealthy self-concept. Now let us address another powerful tool in assuming the state of being super rich: the use of I am statements. The words I am are incredibly potent. They are, in essence, your definition of yourself. Whatever follows I am is impressed upon your subconscious mind as a truth about your identity. Many people unconsciously use I am statements in ways that perpetuate financial lack. I am broke. I am bad with money. I am always in debt. Each time you make such a statement, you are programming your subconscious mind to create more of that experience. To assume the state of being super rich, you must become acutely aware of your I am statements and consciously choose ones that align with wealth and abundance. I am wealthy, I am a money magnet. I am financially free, I am abundantly provided for in all ways. But remember, it's not just about the words. You must feel the truth of these statements as you say them. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not just to words. So when you say, I am wealthy, feel the security, the freedom, the joy of being wealthy. When you say, I am a money magnet, feel the excitement of money constantly flowing into your life. As you consistently use I am statements in this way, you are literally reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon it a new concept of who you are in relation to wealth, and your subconscious mind will work tirelessly to make this new self-concept your reality. Now let us explore another powerful technique for assuming the state of being super rich, the practice of living in the end. This involves mentally dwelling in the state of your wish fulfilled, living as if you are already super rich. To practice living in the end, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire for wealth. This scene should be one that would naturally occur if you were already super rich. Perhaps it's the feeling of making a large donation to a cause you care about, or the joy of buying your dream home without concern for the cost, or the satisfaction of seeing a large balance in your bank account. Create this scene in your imagination with as much detail as possible. See it clearly. Hear the sounds associated with it. Feel the emotions you would feel. Then enter into this scene in your imagination. Don't just watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment, feeling the reality of being super rich. Now here's the crucial part. You must return to this scene repeatedly. Dwell in it. Make it more real to you than your current financial circumstances. The more you live in this imaginal scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. As you persist in living in the end, you may notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities for financial growth may appear. Your relationship with money may begin to shift. You may find yourself making different financial decisions. These are all signs that your new assumption is taking root, reshaping your reality to match your inner conviction of wealth. But here's a word of caution. Do not look for signs. Do not try to figure out how your assumption of wealth will manifest. Your job is simply to assume the state of being wealthy, to live from that state in your imagination. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Now let us address a crucial aspect of assuming the state of being super rich, the role of action. Some people mistakenly believe that the law of assumption means they can simply imagine being wealthy and then sit back and wait for money to magically appear. This is not the case. The law of assumption does not negate action, it informs action. When you truly assume the state of being wealthy, you will naturally be inspired to take actions that align with that state. You may feel compelled to start a business, to invest in certain opportunities, to learn about wealth management. These inspired actions flow naturally from your assumed state. The key difference is that these actions are not driven by fear, lack, or the need to make money. They are expressions of your assumed state of wealth. You take these actions not to become rich, but because you are operating from the assumption that you are already rich. This is a subtle but crucial distinction when you take action from a place of lack. Trying to get money, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having enough. But when you take action from the assumption of already being wealthy, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for the expression and expansion of that wealth. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state of wealth. Let your assumption guide your actions rather than hoping your actions will create the assumption. Now let us discuss the importance of gratitude in assuming the state of being super rich. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the law of assumption. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for wealth and abundance, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the money you currently have, no matter how little it may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or spend money. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms, the air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased financial abundance. Remember, the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of lack cannot coexist. By cultivating gratitude, you are effectively ignoring the abundance of financial and assuming the state of wealth and abundance. Now let us address a common challenge in assuming the state of being super rich, dealing with contradictory evidence. As you begin to assume the state of wealth, you may find that your current financial circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. Bills may still need to be paid. Financial pressures may still exist. How do you maintain your assumption in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption of wealth than to these outdated circumstances. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to your assumption of wealth. Say to yourself, this is old condition passing away. It has no power over my new assumption. I am now super rich, abundantly provided for it always. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your assumption, shows you what will be. As you persist in your assumption of wealth, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you'll begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, an unexpected refund, a good deal on something you need, a new opportunity to increase your income. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to becoming super rich through the law of assumption. Detachment does not mean you don't care about becoming wealthy. Rather, it means you are not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of becoming wealthy. When you are detached, you are secure in your assumption of wealth. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of wealth creation without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your true wealth comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstances. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of wealth is the reality, regardless of what your current bank balance might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace, knowing that your financial abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. Now let us address the role of persistence in assuming the state of being super rich. Assuming a new state, especially one that seems far from your current experience, requires persistent effort. You must be willing to persist in your new assumption, even when the outer world seems unchanged, even when doubts arise, even when others question your sanity. Remember, the reality you see around you is the fruit of seeds planted in the past. As you assume the state of being super rich, you are planting new seeds. These seeds need time to grow. Your persistence in maintaining your assumption is what waters these seeds and allows them to flourish. Do not be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Do not waver in your assumption if your financial situation doesn't change overnight. Persistence is key. Return again and again to your assumption of wealth. Live from that state consistently, persistently, faithfully. It's also important to persist through the doubts and fears that may arise. As you assume a state of wealth that is vastly different from your current experience, your old beliefs and fears may surface. This is natural. Acknowledge these doubts when they arise, but do not give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your assumption of wealth. Now, let us discuss the importance of feeling in assuming the state of being super rich. Feeling is the secret of creation. It's not enough to intellectually know that you are assuming a state of wealth. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion of being wealthy. What does wealth feel like to you? Is it a feeling of security, of freedom, of power to help others, of peace of mind? Whatever it is, you must capture that feeling and live in it. Make it your constant companion. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand words as much as it understands feelings. When you consistently feel wealthy, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your reality. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring about circumstances that match this feeling. As you go through your day, constantly check in with your feelings. Are you feeling wealthy? If not, pause and recall the feeling of wealth. Immerse yourself in it. Let it permeate your being. This constant return to the feeling of wealth is crucial in maintaining your assumption. Now let us address a common pitfall in the journey of assuming wealth: the temptation to compare yourself with others. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the wealth and success of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy, and more importantly, it can undermine your assumption of wealth. When you compare yourself to others, you are implicitly assuming a state of lack. You are focusing on what you don't have rather than on the abundance you are assuming. This sends a conflicting message to your subconscious mind and can slow down or even reverse your progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Remember, you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey to wealth is unique to you. Trust in your own assumption and in the perfect unfolding of your desires. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, let us talk about the ultimate purpose of assuming the state of being super rich. While financial abundance is certainly enjoyable and can provide many opportunities, the true power of this practice lies in the freedom it provides. Freedom to be more fully yourself, to express your gifts, to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. As you assume the state of being super rich, you may find that your definition of wealth expands. You may discover that true wealth encompasses not just financial abundance, but also richness in relationships, in experiences, in personal growth, in the ability to make a positive impact on the world. Embrace this expanded definition of wealth. Let your assumption of being super rich infuse all areas of your life with abundance. Assume a state of richness in love, in health, in wisdom, in joy. For in doing so, you are assuming the state of your highest, most abundant self. In closing, my dear friends, remember this: you are not bound by your current financial reality. You are not limited by your past experiences with money. You are a divine, infinite being capable of assuming any state you choose. The state of being super rich is available to you right now, in this very moment. Choose it. Assume it. Live from it. Ignore the contradictory evidence of your senses and persist in your assumption. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world. You are stepping into the full power of your divine creativity. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions about wealth. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to live in the end of being super rich. Persist in your assumption, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. And above all, have faith. Faith in the law, faith in the process, faith in your own divine nature as a creative being. For as you master the art of assumption, as you learn to ignore the limiting aspects of your current reality, you step into your true power as the author of your life story. Remember, the power to change your financial reality lies within you. It always has. You are not bound by economic conditions, by your background, or by your current bank balance. You are bound only by the limits of your imagination and your willingness to assume the state of being super rich. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding. And watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound abundance you have assumed into being. Thank you. And may your journey of conscious creation be filled with infinite abundance, joy, and the thrill of manifesting your wealthiest, most expansive self. I want to share with you the most profound secret of manifestation. A secret so powerful that once understood will revolutionize your entire approach to life. Many of you come to me asking why your manifestations are delayed, why your desires seem to take so long to materialize in your world. Tonight, I shall reveal to you why, and more importantly, how to manifest your desires with lightning speed. Let me begin by sharing a principle that most of the world has completely misunderstood. In the book of John, it is written, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, what is this Word? This Word, my dear wonderful friends, is not something spoken by your physical lips. The Word is your inner conversation, your mental dialogue that runs ceaselessly through your mind day and night. You see, most people are manifesting slowly or not at all because they fail to grasp this fundamental truth. Your inner conversation is the cause of everything in your world. Everything. Not some things, not most things, but all things. When you truly understand this, you will begin to manifest with such rapidity that others will call it miraculous. Let me share with you a story that came to me just last week. A lady approached me after one of my lectures, her eyes filled with tears. She had been trying to manifest a reunion with her estranged son for 3 years. She had tried everything, affirmations, visualization, even traveling across the country to see him, but he refused to meet her. After attending my lectures and understanding this principle of inner conversation, she realized that her constant inner dialogue was, "Why won't my son talk to me? What did I do wrong? Will he ever forgive me?" Do you see what she was doing? She was perpetuating the very state of separation through her inner conversation. I instructed her to change her inner dialogue to how wonderful it is to talk to my son every day. How lovely it is to hear his voice filled with love for me. Within 1 week, yes, just 1 week, her son called her. Not only did he call, but he apologized for his behavior and expressed his desire to rebuild their relationship. This, my dear friends, is the secret that accelerates manifestation. Your inner conversation must match the state you wish to occupy. There must be no contradiction between what you desire and what you internally hear yourself saying about that desire. Now, let me take you deeper into this mystery. In the book of Matthew, it is written, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Your treasure is not your desire. Your treasure is your inner conversation about your desire. If you claim to want financial abundance, but your inner dialogue is constantly repeating, "I never have enough money. Everything is so expensive. I can't afford this," then that conversation is your real treasure. And that is exactly what you will manifest. The speed of manifestation is directly proportional to the consistency of your inner conversation. When you maintain an inner dialogue that aligns perfectly with your desire, without contradiction, without doubt, without wavering, manifestation must follow as naturally as day follows night. Some of you might be thinking, "But Neville, I try to maintain positive thoughts, yet my inner conversation seems to have a mind of its own." Here is where most seekers stumble. They try to force their inner conversation, to control it through willpower. This is not the way. The secret lies in understanding that your inner conversation is not something to be forced, but something to be assumed. When you truly assume a state, the inner conversation appropriate to that state flows naturally. If you are wealthy, truly wealthy in consciousness, you don't need to force yourself to think wealthy thoughts. The inner dialogue of wealth flows spontaneously because it is natural to the state you have assumed. Let me make this practical for you. Tonight, when you go to sleep, I want you to do something revolutionary. Instead of trying to visualize your desire or repeating affirmations, I want you to simply listen to your inner conversation. Don't try to change it yet. Just listen. Become aware of what you are internally saying about yourself, your life, your desires, your relationships, your finances. This awareness is crucial because what you will discover is that your current inner conversation is a perfect match for your current life circumstances. Every detail of your life right now is a manifestation of your habitual inner dialogue. This is why some people can visualize for hours, affirm until they're blue in the face, yet see no results. Their inner conversation is contradicting everything they're trying to manifest. The secret to rapid manifestation lies in this understanding. Change the inner conversation and you change the outer world. And this is crucial, you must change it naturally by assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. When you assume the state, the appropriate inner dialogue flows without effort. Here's a profound truth that few understand. Your inner conversation is not just about the specific words you say to yourself. It's about the feeling tone behind those words. When you assume the state, the feeling of that state gives birth to natural, effortless, inner talking that matches the state. Consider a woman who wants to be married. She might repeat affirmations like, I am happily married 1,000 times. But if her inner conversation throughout the day is filled with loneliness, questioning when love will come, or expressing doubt about finding the right person, those are the conditions she is actually manifesting. But when she assumes the state of the happily married woman, her inner conversation naturally includes remarks like, my husband always does the sweetest things. I love cooking our favorite meals together. These conversations flow effortlessly because they are natural to the state she has assumed. This brings me to another crucial point about rapid manifestation. In the book of Revelation, it is written, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. This is not speaking of some external deity. This is speaking of your consciousness, your I am. Your inner conversation is how you use this creative power of I am. Every time you engage in inner dialogue, you are defining who I am is. When you say internally, I am struggling, I am trying to manifest, I am waiting for my desire, you are creating those very conditions. The secret to rapid manifestation is to engage in the inner conversation of the state fulfilled, not the state desired. Let me give you a warning here. Many of you will be tempted to monitor your inner conversation constantly, trying to catch every negative thought. This is not what I'm advocating. Such an approach creates tension and resistance, which only slows down manifestation. Instead, simply assume the state of your wish fulfilled and let the natural inner conversation of that state flow. Now, let me share with you something even more profound about this secret. In the book of Job, it is written, for what I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. This is not just ancient wisdom. This is a precise description of how your inner conversation creates your reality. Your fears, your worries, the things you dread, these are not merely passive thoughts. They are powerful inner conversations that manifest with the same certainty as your desire. This is why I tell you that no one worry you. When others speak of recession, of difficult times, of impossibilities, you must understand that their conversations have no power in your world unless you accept them into your inner dialogue. The only creative power is your own inner conversation. I recall a gentleman who attended my lectures in New York. He was a businessman who had heard countless experts predicting a downturn in his industry. Everyone was preparing for failure, cutting costs, laying off workers. But this gentleman understood the secret of inner conversation. While others spoke of decline, his inner dialogue remained steadfast. My business is thriving. My customers are abundant, but opportunities are flowing to me from every direction. His colleagues called him delusional, unrealistic. Yet within 3 months, while other businesses struggled, his company experienced its most profitable quarter ever. Was this a coincidence? No, my dear friends. It was the law in operation. His inner conversation created a state of consciousness that had to objectify itself in his world. Here is another secret that will accelerate your manifestations. Your inner conversation must not only match your desire, it must transcend time. Notice how most people's inner dialogue is always about the future. I will be successful. I will find love. Things will get better. This very conversation pushes their desires perpetually into the future. The secret is to have an inner conversation that speaks from the in, as though your desire is already fulfilled. In the book of Isaiah, it states, before they call, I will answer. This is not about some external God answering prayers. This is about the law of consciousness. Your inner conversation of the wish fulfilled is the answer. And it precedes the physical manifestation. Let me be very specific about this. If you desire financial abundance, your inner conversation should not be, money is coming to me, or I am attracting wealth. These conversations, though seemingly positive, still speak from a place of lack. Instead, your inner dialogue should be that of a wealthy person. I love how easily money flows in my life. It's wonderful having more than enough to share. I enjoy choosing the best of everything. Some of you might argue, but Neville, isn't this denying reality? Isn't this lying to ourselves? Let me address this once and for all. What you call reality is simply the outer picturing of past inner conversations. Your current circumstances, which seem so solid and real, are nothing more than yesterday's inner talking made visible. In the book of Hebrews, it is written, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Replace word of God with inner conversation, and you have the exact law I'm revealing to you tonight. The things which are seen, your current circumstances, were created by the invisible power of your inner dialogue. Let me share another experience that demonstrates this principle perfectly. A young teacher came to me in despair. She had been assigned the most challenging class in her school, students known for being disruptive and unmanageable. Her inner conversation was filled with dread. These students won't listen. This year will be a nightmare. I can't handle this class. I explained to her this secret of inner conversation. She began to change her internal dialogue too. My students are engaged and eager to learn. I love how respectful and cooperative my class is. Teaching this class brings me joy every day. She maintained this new inner conversation faithfully, even when external circumstances seemed to contradict it. Within 2 weeks, she noticed subtle changes. Students who had never participated began raising their hands. Disruptions became less frequent. By the end of the month, her class had transformed so dramatically that other teachers came to observe what they called her teaching magic. But it wasn't magic. It was the law of inner conversation in action. Now, here's another crucial aspect of this secret that few understand. Your inner conversation is not limited to your own life circumstances. When you engage in inner dialogue about others, you are influencing how they appear in your world. This is why the Bible instructs us to love our enemies and bless those who curse us. These are not moral instructions. They are practical, metaphysical laws. If someone in your world appears hostile or unpleasant, check your inner conversation about them. Are you internally rehearsing their faults? Are you mentally arguing with them? Are you replaying negative interactions? This inner dialogue is creating and sustaining their behavior in your experience. Change your inner conversation about them, and you change their behavior toward you. This is not manipulation. This is the correct use of the law. Everyone in your world is yourself pushed out. Their behavior toward you is simply the manifestation of your inner conversation about them. I had a lady write to me about a difficult mother-in-law. For years, their relationship had been strained, filled with criticism and tension. Every time she thought about her mother-in-law, her inner dialogue was, she's always judging me. She'll never accept me. She makes my life miserable. I instructed her to change this inner conversation to, my mother-in-law is so loving and supportive. We enjoy such wonderful times together. She practiced this faithfully. Even though her external circumstances showed no immediate change, but within a month, her mother-in-law's attitude began to shift. Small gestures of kindness appeared. Criticism turned to compliments. Today, they share a loving relationship that amazes the entire family. This transformation wasn't about changing her mother-in-law. It was about changing her inner conversation about her mother-in-law. Now, let me reveal to you an even deeper aspect of this secret that will accelerate your manifestations beyond anything you've previously experienced. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Many interpret this literally, thinking they must wait for the right time for their manifestations. But I tell you truly, time is a creation of your inner conversation. When your inner dialogue constantly speaks of waiting, of process, of gradual improvement, you create time between you and your desire. This is why so many remain stuck in the state of becoming rather than being. Their inner conversation is always about the journey, never the arrival. They say, I'm getting better. I'm working towards my goal. I'm making progress. While these seem positive, they are actually creating perpetual delay. Let me share with you a profound truth. In imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. This is why the Bible speaks of God as the eternal I am, not the I will be. Your inner conversation must reflect this timeless nature of consciousness. Instead of saying internally, my business is growing, say, I am perfectly healthy now. A gentleman once approached me after experiencing years of financial struggle. His inner conversation was filled with statements like, things are getting better. I'm moving towards prosperity. My debts are gradually decreasing. I explained to him that this very conversation was creating the experience of gradual change, of endless becoming. He shifted his inner dialogue to speak from the end. I love having more than enough. The results were immediate and startling. Within days, unexpected opportunities appeared. A long-forgotten investment suddenly paid off. A new business partnership emerged that transformed his financial situation completely. What others called coincidence, we know as law. Here's another crucial aspect of this secret. Your inner conversation must be anchored in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Many attempt to change their inner dialogue mechanically, repeating new statements without the corresponding feeling tone. This is why their manifestations are slow and non-existent. In the book of Psalms, it says, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." This delight is the feeling tone that must accompany your inner conversation. When your internal dialogue naturally flows from the joy of having your desire fulfilled, manifestation is instantaneous. Consider a woman who desires marriage. Her inner conversation might be technically positive. I am married to a wonderful man. But if these words lack the feeling of being happily married, they remain hollow and powerless. When she assumes the feeling of being a beloved wife, her inner dialogue naturally flows with statements like, "I love cooking dinner with my husband. Our evening walks together are so precious. I'm so blessed to share my life with my soulmate." These words carry the feeling tone of the wish fulfilled. Let me share something even more profound about this secret. Your inner conversation extends beyond your waking hours. The thoughts and dialogues that occupy your mind as you fall asleep are particularly powerful. This is why the Psalms instruct us to commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Most people fall asleep rehearsing the problems of their day or worrying about tomorrow. Their inner conversation during these crucial moments is creating more of what they don't want. Instead, as you fall asleep, let your inner dialogue be from the state of your wish fulfilled. Let it be natural, easy, reflecting the joy of already having what you desire. I recall a man who had been seeking a specific position in his company for years. Every night he would fall asleep thinking about how to get the promotion, what he needed to do, who he needed to impress. His inner conversation was always about seeking, never about having. I instructed him to change his preparatory sleep conversation. Instead of planning and strategizing, he was to fall asleep each night with the inner dialogue of already being in that position. His new inner conversation included casual remarks like, "It's wonderful having this responsibility. I love leading this department. My team is exceptional." Within 2 weeks, not only was he promoted to the position he desired, but he was given even more responsibility and compensation than he had imagined possible. Now, let me address something that many of you struggle with: the appearance of failure or delay in your manifestations. When things seem to be going wrong, when circumstances appear to contradict your desire, your inner conversation becomes crucial. Most people allow their internal dialogue to be dictated by circumstances. This is the exact opposite of how the law works. In the book of Romans, it is written, "Call those things which be not as though they were." This is not positive thinking. This is the revelation of how consciousness creates reality. Your inner conversation must call forth the reality you desire, regardless of appearances. A lady who was manifesting perfect health while dealing with a chronic condition. Instead of allowing her inner dialogue to focus on symptoms or medical reports, she maintained a conversation of perfect health. My body is strong and vital. Every cell in my body is functioning perfectly. I am the picture of health. Her doctors were amazed when her condition completely reversed, defying their prognosis. This brings me to another vital aspect of rapid manifestation. Your inner conversation must be protected from the doubts and negativity of others. When others speak of impossibilities, when they point to reality or facts, you must maintain your inner conversation is so vital. In the book of Proverbs, it states, "Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Your heart, your consciousness, is your inner conversation. When you allow external voices to influence your internal dialogue, you give away your creative power. I remember a remarkable case of a young artist who came to me in despair. Gallery owners had rejected her work, critics had dismissed her talent, and her family insisted she find a real job. But she understood this secret. Instead of allowing their voices to become her inner conversation, she maintained an internal dialogue of success. My art touches people deeply. Collectors value my work. My exhibitions are always successful. She told me later that maintaining this inner conversation felt like standing firm in a storm of contrary opinions. But she persisted. Within months, a prestigious gallery owner discovered her work. Today, her paintings command significant prices, and critics who once dismissed her now praise her unique vision. What changed? Not her talent. That was always there. What changed was her inner conversation. Here's another crucial aspect of this secret that few understand. Your inner conversation must be faithful to your assumption. If you assume the state of wealth, but your internal dialogue still speaks of budgeting, saving, and financial caution, you are being unfaithful to your assumption. This divided inner conversation creates delayed and mixed manifestations. In the book of James, it says, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." This double-mindedness is not about having doubts. It's about maintaining contradictory inner conversations. You cannot speak internally as both the wealthy and the wanting, the healthy and the sick, the loved and the lonely. You must choose your state and let your inner conversation be faithful to it completely. Consider this profound truth. Every moment of your day is an opportunity to align your inner conversation with your desired state. When you shop, does your internal dialogue speak of prices and affordability, or does it naturally discuss preferences and choices? When you dine out, does your inner conversation concern itself with the cost of the menu, or does it focus on the pleasure of the experience? These seemingly small moments of inner dialogue are actually crucial turning points in your manifestation. Every internal word either aligns with your desire or contradicts it. There is no neutral inner conversation. Let me share one final secret about rapid manifestation that will transform your understanding completely. Your Inner conversation is not just about words. It's about the consciousness from which those words spring. When you truly assume a state, the inner conversation appropriate to that state flows naturally, without effort or practice. This is why attempting to monitor and control every thought is unnecessary and counterproductive. Instead, occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, and the right inner conversation will flow spontaneously. This is what the Bible means when it says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." It's speaking of assuming the state of your wish fulfilled, from which all appropriate thoughts and internal dialogues naturally flow. I knew a man who struggled with relationships. He tried to change his inner conversation about love and partnership, but it felt forced and unnatural. Then he understood this principle. Instead of trying to change his thoughts, he assumed the state of being happily married. From this state, his inner conversation naturally shifted. He no longer had to remind himself to think positive thoughts about relationships. The internal dialogue of a happily married man flowed effortlessly from his assumed state. Within months, he met and married a wonderful woman. But here's the crucial point. The meeting and marriage weren't the miracle. The natural shift in his inner conversation was the miracle. The external circumstances simply conformed to his new state of consciousness. Now, as we conclude tonight's discussion, I want to impress upon you this final truth. Dialogue is defining your self-concept, and your self-concept determines what you manifest in your world. When you understand this, truly understand it, you will never again worry about circumstances, conditions, or the opinions of others. You will know that your inner conversation is the only creative power, and you will use it wisely and deliberately. Tonight, as you leave here, I urge you to begin this practice immediately. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Don't prepare yourself. Simply begin now to listen to your inner conversation, and then naturally let it flow from the state of your wish fulfilled. Let your internal dialogue be that of the person who already has what you desire. Remember, secret I've shared with you tonight is not new. It's as old as consciousness itself. But its power is as fresh and available now as it has ever been. Your inner conversation is creating your reality at this very moment. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. Use it deliberately. For in the end, there is no one to change but self. And self is changed by the transformation of your inner conversation. The world around you, which appears so solid and real, is nothing more than your inner conversation made visible. Change the conversation and you change everything. And now, knowing this secret, go forth and prove it in the laboratory of your own life. For as it is written, according to your faith be it unto you. Your faith is your inner conversation, and it will not fail you. That is the law, and that is the promise